Hey, what's up guys? I thought I'd do a video on some of the mods that I've done on the car. Now they've been on there a little while. I just wanted to obviously explain to you guys how I feel they are, whether it's worth doing, and just a little bit of information about them, sort of how it drives and how it sounds and stuff like that, because you're always jumping into the comments and how does it feel, how does it sound, etc. So I thought I'd make a video. So we'll jump into the intro and then we'll get stuck into it. Okay, so let's start off with probably my favourite mod, which was the exhaust. Now that's the back box delete. I've got a couple of videos on fitting it and some general sound clips of it. Now I'm doing 50 miles an hour in 7th gear, and as you can hear, there's barely any noise. If I was to knock it into manual and let's say go down to, let's say 4th, and then maintain at 50, you should pick up a subtle tone. And then obviously with the acceleration, pick up quite a bit more. So drone wise, I've noticed very little to none. A few people have said they've had a little bit, but obviously I guess it depends on the life of your boxes, the rest of the boxes that are still in the car. But I absolutely love it. I've done quite a few long journeys on the motorway, cruise 70, etc., which I'll get up to in a minute. We'll do a few different driving speeds. Now I'll knock it into manual because I'm sure that's probably where most people spend a bit of their time, and you can hear it really well. So here you go. It's not massively excessive inside anyway, it's quite nice. Outside is quite a bit louder, but just cruising, I mean cruising at 40 now, again you can't even really hear it even in manual or sport. Right, let's open it up now. We're on a country road. That's 3rd. 4th. 5th. Right, let's knock it into 70. Knock it into cruise in 7th. So there's a little bit of a hum, and that's sitting at just over 60. But it's not. I'm talking in a normal voice, a normal tempo, sort of loudness. And it's not excessive. You could have a conversation if you've got the radio and you wouldn't even notice the drone. There is, like I said, a tiny hum. I don't know if it even comes across on the video, but it's nothing excessive. I don't have to raise my voice or anything, so I don't see too much what the issue is. But yeah, that's the exhaust. I mean, I'm just coming up to another road in a second. I'll drop all the windows down. I don't know what it's going to sound like. Someone pulled out in front of me. Lovely. I don't know what it sounds like. It might be really windy. We'll see, but you might get an idea of it. So what I'll do is I'll go again into manual mode, because that is probably my favourite, and also it does little rev matching down changes. Maybe. Oh no, that's in sport, sorry, not in manual. It's only when you paddle down. I'm just being lazy. So this is 2nd. As soon as you let off silence again, back up into, let's do, where are we? Let's say 40 in cruise. Even with the windows open, it's not excessive at all. So yeah, that is the exhaust. So that is the back box delete setup from Exhaustworks. I believe when I bought it was £250. I believe it's still around that sort of price, and takes less than 30 minutes to fit. So a great little add-on there. Okay, so now I'm on an open road again. I've managed to get it into 70 at 7th in cruise, and you can just hear a slight rumble from the exhaust, but it's not excessive. I'm not shouting. This is my normal speaking voice. I'm going to have to slow down a little bit because the person in front's going slow. But there is a little hum. It's there, it's noticeable, but you've taken both back boxes off, so you're expecting a little bit of noise, and you've taken them off because you want some more noise. So for me, it's completely bearable. I've got no issue with it at all. When you put a bit of music on, you wouldn't even notice it was there. Round town, maybe some more, I don't know. But at 70, if you've got to do a couple of 100 miles, it's not horrendous. You put the music on, like I said, it drowns it out. You don't have to talk loud or anything. But I just wanted to show you what it was like at 70 on cruise. So that's number 1. So moving on to number 2. What should we do for second? So brakes. That's probably my second most popular mod on this. Now, when I went to the Nürburgring last year, done a few laps in this, and the stock S4 brakes, just genuine pads and discs, stock single pot calipers. Not even halfway into the lap, they were absolute garbage. They'd got heat soaked, they were dreadful. I mean, it recently had the brake fluid changed as well, so it wasn't down to the fluid. It was just that the pads were getting hot, the discs were getting hot. Admittedly, it's the Nürburgring, it is effectively however long it takes you to do it, 12-13 minute racetrack, so you are hammering it. But even spirited driving on some back roads, after a couple of minutes, the brakes are starting to show their sort of limit. Now, I've done a video on the calipers, which I'll link up in the corner, but I've gone for the 4-pot straight bolt-on Brembo off the Q5 or the Porsche Macan. They're a straight fit. You use exactly the same size discs. You're not actually getting bigger discs, but you do get a better braking efficiency because you've got 2 pistons on each side, so 4 pistons pushing on the disc and the brake pads. You're getting a better efficiency, you've got more push, you get a better feel from the pedal. The original brakes is a bit all or nothing, which I didn't really like, whereas the pedal on this, make sure I'm sort of no one around me, you just get a nice linear feel. If you gently tap on, it gives you a nice real firm braking, and you just add a tiny bit more and it really brings you to a stop. Now, I really like that. I haven't actually put it onto the track since, or to the ring or anything like that, because my trip got cancelled this year, but it's night and day better. I mean, I've done quite a bit of spirited driving. I've been to Scotland in it, been to Wales in it, and it is noticeably different. It puts a lot more confidence in the brakes, and it is just a nice straight bolt-on kit, so you don't have to worry about too much about getting a long pedal or changing the pedal feel or anything like that. Or worried about obviously the pedal going too far down before it does anything. It feels real nice, it fits nice, they're easy to fit, and it is just a good setup, and I am so glad I did it. Matched with, so original discs, genuine OE discs, matched with the Ferodo DS 2500 pads, and it is phenomenal. I can't wait to put it on the track and see what it really can do, because it is very impressive. So brakes wise, if you're looking for a brake upgrade, I would recommend that one, because you get brand new calipers. You don't have to worry about buying second-hand calipers, getting them rebuilt. It fits straight on. It's an OE fitment, for argument's sake, because the Q5 is the same platform as this, so you are fitting sort of OE brakes, and you get to retain the original discs. So it makes discs, when you come to buy brand new genuine discs, they're like £100, so it's cheap. The pads are actually more expensive than the discs, which is mad. But yeah, so that is number 2. Okay, so number 3, probably my favourite cheap mod, and that was the Gearbox insert. This is probably the one I wish I'd done first, because it absolutely transforms the drive of the car. Now, when I bought it, the gearbox, it worked fine, got no issues with it. It just was a bit lumpy through the gears, and I mean, if you're watching this, you probably own a B8 S4, but the gearbox just is a bit clunky through the gears, and it just feels a bit tired. And I've been in a couple, and they've both been exactly the same. And the insert, I mean, I paid £35. You can buy them off eBay for a tenner. You can buy them from 034 Motorsport for £120 maybe. They all do exactly the same thing. They just fill the void, and they are worth their money. If you haven't got one, buy one. Go and buy one now, because honestly, it makes changing gears so smooth. You don't get that sort of plonk between gears, and it just transforms the gear changes. That's all I can really say about it. I mean, if you own one, you know the kind of clonks it makes, especially if it's just in normal drive. It just kind of not bangs through the gears, but you just get this sort of really, like it's just really rough, and it's just not very nice. And to be honest, the insert, it takes 10 minutes to fit and costs £30 odd, and it is amazing. It changes gears like silk, and you sort of, once you fitted it, you almost forget what it felt like before, because it just feels right. It's so smooth, and you think, well, what was it like before? I can't even remember, just because it was so harsh then, and now it's so smooth. You think, oh, I wish I'd have done this before. It took, jack it up, takes 10 minutes to swap out, and then you're done, and it is just smooth as. I mean, you won't be able to see it in the video because you can't feel it, but it just, the way it just changes gears, it's just so smooth. Why it doesn't come out of the factory like that, I will never know. I'm sure there's a reason, but honestly, you don't even feel it change gear. It's like silk. So that is number 3. I would recommend, if you haven't got one, go and buy one now, because you'll thank me, I promise you. So that's number 3. Number 4, rear anti-roll bar. That, I tell you what, honestly, that, when I was in Germany again, on the Nürburgring, this drives like an estate car. When you turn, the back eventually follows, which for a 4-wheel drive is not ideal, but it's alright. And it needed it. I mean, the anti-roll bar that come off, I've done a video, I'll stick it in the corner. Just to point out, we're at 70 now on the old cruise control, so you can hear any droning. What I was talking about earlier, a little bit of noise in the background. But yeah, the anti-roll bar is just, it's phenomenal. The original one is hollow and weighs probably a couple of kilos. The new one weighs 15 or 20. Is ridiculous. It's so much stronger, and it's just so much nicer. You get, see if the sun's in the camera, doesn't help. But yeah, the anti-roll bar really stiffens up the rear end, and I mean, I've got it on the loosest setting, so there's more to be had from it, but it just really tightens up the corner, and it makes it a lot more predictable. When you go round corners now, you really know where the back end's going to go, and you can really feel the difference. They're pricey. I think it cost me £250–300. I think, I can't remember. I'll put it in the description here somewhere, just saying what it cost me. I'll have a look through my invoices. I can't remember how much it cost me, but it was the only company that I could find that would sell the rear individually, because I didn't want to pair, because the front one's fine. I wanted to stiffen up the back without equalising it across the car. But yeah, that absolutely stiffens it up. And if you're going to do track days, maybe more in a saloon than an Avant, because, well, you buy an Avant because you've got luggage. But yeah, it really stiffens it up. And the 034 Motorsport, I don't know if other companies make them and sell them singly. They probably do now, but when I looked, they didn't. But that is a worthwhile one if you're looking to drive it a bit harder and you want to get rid of some of that roll. That is the one to do, because it makes it so much more predictable. But yeah, so that is anti-roll bars. Right, on to the front upper strut brace. Now this is quite a nice little add-on. I must admit, I didn't notice masses, but then on road driving, I don't think you would. It's more for like hard turning in and whatnot. But I mean, it certainly, so I'm just going round and roundabout. It certainly adds something to the front. And I mean, if you look at what you take off versus what you put back on again, is noticeably different, because one's an L shape and one's box, so it's certainly a lot stronger. And I would recommend it for what it costs. It's like 100–150 quid. It does make a difference. Let's open her up a bit. But yeah, it does make a difference. It's worth having if you're looking to drive it a little bit harder. And you do notice that it's a bit washy on the front. It will certainly strengthen up the front a little bit. Fitment wise, again, 15–20 minutes start to finish. A nice easy mod. I can't talk much more about it because I've not really put this on track, so I can't really say that it's massively improved or anything, because I've not really pushed it through its paces. But I did notice a little bit when I put it on, but like I said, on the road, what can you really tell about it? And the last one I wanted to cover was the springs. Now, I've gone for the EIBACH Pro Sport kit, I believe, which is like a -20, -25mm kit. And I didn't want a massive drop, but I just wanted to lose some of the arch gap, and I also wanted to gain a little bit of stiffness in the springs, and that has done that. I would recommend it to anyone. It's on the standard shocks and shock absorbers, and it's absolutely fine. The ride comfort is literally no different. It feels exactly the same as it did before, apart from it's a little bit stiffer, which is nice when you're cornering, and it gives you a bit more confidence in it. But besides that, it doesn't rub, it doesn't feel any worse. But yeah, it's just a real nice ride. So if you're looking for a little lowering kit, you just want to drop it a little bit, get rid of some of that horrible arch gap, but you don't want coilovers and you don't want a bumpy ride, because obviously you're driving it quite a bit, you're doing a lot of journeys, long journeys, and you don't want it to be too bouncy or whatever, then that is the kit for you. It is a couple of £100. It's probably the cheapest on there, and EIBACH give you a 5-year warranty on your springs. So if any of your springs were to snap, you've obviously got the warranty on there as well, which is a nice little touch. But yeah, so I mean, hopefully it's been informative for you guys. I wanted to share sort of my feelings with everything. Everything I bought, I've done quite a bit of research on before buying it, so it was sort of selected as to what I got. There is other options out there, and everything suits everyone differently. But for me, I wanted to try and keep that sort of OEM plus look. I wanted it to look stock, but obviously with the stage 1, it's 400 brake, and I wanted better brakes. I wanted slightly better handling because, again, it's an estate car, it's a little bit washy, but you just wanted a bit more from it. It should have been a little bit better from the factory. I've made it that little bit better, I feel, and it's just made it a nice all-round car. It looks completely stock, unless you notice the brakes, because they say Porsche, not Audi or Brembo. But apart from that, you wouldn't even notice the 20mm drop. It just looks right, and that's what I wanted. I like that sort of understated look, shall we say. So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. I've tried to cover all the mods I've done on the car, give you a little bit of an explanation as to why I've done them, how I feel about them, and I hope you get to enjoy them too. I'll try and put some links down in the description here of where you can purchase the items I've got on my car, should you want to have a look at the price or how they are, where you can get them from, or you want to buy them. That'd be great. Now also, I wanted to mention to you guys, I've done a little reveal on my other video. You may not watch it for the TTs, but I've made a website, and on that website I'm going to try and basically harness all of the information I've given on the videos and put that into the website. So if you decide to, say for instance, you've watched the brake video, you buy the brakes, and then you wanted to check what pads to buy or whatever, I've actually put all that information, or I'm going to be putting all that information into the website, so you don't have to go onto the video again. You can just visit www.theparrottbros.co.uk. I'll put that here. And then you'll be able to go into the menu, jump into the S4 page at the bottom. There's different pictures which take you to different sections like interior, exterior, mechanical, and engine based. And then obviously you'll be able to find what you're looking for. I've also take a look around the site. Obviously I'm building it at the moment, and I'm not an IT guy, so it's a work in progress. But it's as good as I can make it with the time I had, and obviously I'm going to be working on it month on month. I've also got some car related travel and stuff, so if you're looking to do a trip to the ring, or you're looking to do a trip around Scotland, Wales and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to be posting pictures and videos and routes and places to go to, and if you're a bit of a car guy, places that you must visit at some point. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it. That's another video from the Parrott Bros.